Hello, good evening, and a very warm welcome to Rangers Radio.
Good evening and welcome to Rangers Radio. Coming up in tonight's show, we're going to have a quick look back at the result on Wednesday night against St Etienne at Ibrox. We'll talk about the signing of Vanja Dragojevic, preview West Ham, and of course we'll dig right into the controversial decisions that came out this week in the media regarding charges for the club and Derek McInnes. Joining myself, Robert, on tonight's show is AK and Albert. Evening, AK.
Good evening, Rob. Good evening, Albert, the Techie team and everybody that's listening.
Evening, Albert.
Evening, mate. How are you too? He's doing well.
Hi, mate. I'm good. Looking forward to the show tonight. Plenty to talk about tonight, I'm sure.
I'm doing fantastic. Woke up this morning, still a Protestant, still a Rangers supporter. Things are good in my world.
Oh, you can't ask for a better start to a Friday morning, can you?
True, mate. True. Anyway, let's get on with this.
Indeed, mate. Indeed. Obviously, I know the game on Wednesday night. I was on with Ox, of course, doing the show on Wednesday. I've said my piece. I'll obviously come in with points of view, but it'd be good to get your guys' view on it. It was a pre-season friendly. We didn't play great, but it'd be interesting to hear yourself. Albert, then AK.
I mean, I was disappointed after the game. I must admit, I'm not going to deny that. I don't actually know what I was expecting, but I was disappointed, whatever it was. But it was a friendly. We looked rusty. Some guys looked if they've not settled in properly yet. Other guys just had a bad game. 2 or 3 of them had right bad games. The 2 up front, for my mind, they didn't gel. But that'll come. We getting to playing each other. Goalkeeper looked okay. We never much to do. One save. It was a good save. It was a really good save. The back 4, no, they didn't play well. None of them really played well. Romans was about the best of them all, but the rest of them didn't play well. Midfield, no, that didn't work at all. But as we say, it's fitness, it's game time, it's getting to know each other, it's learning systems and whatever way you want them to play. But apart of that, mate, nice night, pitch looked good. So that's about it, mate. And by the way, one of the good things I took about it, we played stinking at times, really. You got to admit that. But we won. We walked off the park winning. And we keep saying it's not about the pretty football, it's not about the style of football, it's not all about this, it's about winning. Because we've watched enough nonsense in the last 10, 15 years. So we know it's just about getting a victory. So that's a good sign. Playing bad and winning is always a good sign.
AK?
I was at the game Wednesday with Southside, so taking it the advantage of the main stand. 25,000 showed up, which was good. I was hoping for more, seeing the fact that we're welcoming our new manager and new players and stuff. So for the price that Rangers are putting the tickets out for, and for supporters to only half fill Ibrox, so I was a wee bit disappointed with that. The game itself, I concur a lot with what Albert said there. It's just a game for getting minutes into legs. But what was noticeable for me was the attitude of some of the players who have been there a few years as suspects still. And Derek McInnes will no stand for that. And that's what's let down previous managers. You know, Chuck Whanney going through the motions. Big Fernandez, I thought, was atrocious. I think he causes a lot of problems all night in that back line. Diamonde was insignificant. Finlay Curtis, I didn't think had a particularly good game here. I mean, you could pick holes and right through the team. The St Etienne team went out there and, you know, they acquitted themselves very well for their manager, for their teammates, but there's still problems in our team that I can see, and until Derek McInnes eradicates it and gets rid of a lot of the players that's currently on our books, and gets new players in there with a fresh attitude. The fresh attitude changed again for me, with Cammy Devlin coming on and get a wee bit of bite in that midfield. And I think a lot of the Rangers players that's been in that dressing room now for a good couple of seasons need to have a hard long look at themselves. Because, as I said, McInnes hasn't got to stand for that anymore. He's telling them, drive the standards here. I'm bringing players that will drive the standards, the leadership on the park, and let's see where it goes. But he can't just say to 20 players, he would love to say to them, right, just get lost and then bring in 20 again. He's got to do it with, financial restrictions, players out, players in. So it's going to take, unfortunately, a longer process than what he wants it to take. But he'll get there. But we need to stick with him. But the attitude of some of our players for a friendly, Rangers don't do friendlies. And the sooner some of them realise that, the better.
Oh, but as you said, it's still early days, it's still pre-season, a lot of players are still settling in. But from your view, did you see a structure, a bit of an identity already within the first game compared to what you witnessed last season at this stage?
No, to be honest with you, mate, I've just seen the same old mistakes happening. Too many balls going across my box. People no tracking, people falling asleep. Midfield incapable of any quality forward passes apart for the second penalty. We don't get the 2 penalties, we don't score, mate. Don't even look like scoring. Our forwards are starved with the ball. They're not getting any quality ball into them at all. So they're getting a pass, but their movement between each other when each of them had the ball was non-existent. So I see a lot of work to be done, mate. There's no hiding it. There's got to be a lot of work done. So McInnes seems, he's not happy, but he seems to know. I think he knows what he's doing. Time will tell if he does know what he's doing. But what I've seen there is you can't sugarcoat it. No, I mean what you've seen there wasn't acceptable. They put that team out playing like that against Dundee United, they're going to struggle. It's a fact. They will struggle. But at the end of the day, they've still got a lot. They've still got time to sort it out. They've got time attitudes to change. I agree with Big Ali on that one. There's some of their attitude wasn't right. Big Fernandez just didn't look good. He didn't want to be there, mate. That's what he looked like to me. Maybe I'm reading that wrong, but it looked to me if he could not give a monkeys. He'd get through the motions. Diamandi, dreadful. McCory, dreadful. We Curtis, dreadful. You're looking in the middle of Chukwani, no in the game, dreadful. The boy Neil, I'm looking at him, I don't know what he is, that boy. I'm looking at him, and he's not a bad player, but I'm going, I don't know. But anyway, maybe he needs other players around about him. So the players need to look at themselves. They really do seriously need to look at themselves and say, well, that's not going to be good enough. It's simple as that. I mean, the 2 Scottish boys, for example, McCory, the guy, I mean, he's not doing enough to stop the guy hurting us. I know the problems really came the other side, but the ball's going to cross to his side. He should be there all the time, cutting that out. It's not getting to any player near him, it's not getting to him, but he's not reading the situation. Diamandi's doing his usual Diamandi, no tracking guys back. And the boy Curtis, that fullback had him in his pocket, mate. All night, had him in his pocket, never got by him once. And it was too easy for him, too easy. But Curtis is, I don't think Curtis is a winger for a start. I don't actually know what he is, but he's definitely not a winger. He's not got enough tricks and speed to be a winger. But he's got a knack, mate. And I heard Ox saying it the other night. He's definitely got a knack, mate. If you get him in about that area, he's just got this knack that the boss seems to get to him, and he can take a goal. He can take a shot, and he can take a goal, mate. So that's a plus for him. But his overall outfield play is no good enough. It needs to improve dramatically. But again, a lot of it's mixed in with bad games, pre-season, just a friendly, all that. So it's difficult to make any long-term judgments. So if you just critique them on the night, you just say they were stinking. Devlin came on and showed a bit of running about and a bit of attitude, and that made a hell of a difference. But you're looking at the rest of them going, is that all it takes to get his G'd up? Because Devlin, as McInnes said, they came on the first 15 minutes. He done more tackling than the whole team put together in the last hour. Really, honestly, it was that bad. You're sitting saying, I don't understand what the attitude's about. I don't understand what some of these players think they're world class players for some odd reason. Asgard, come on, he showed the only real quality the whole night for the Rangers point of view, no for us, and they done all right. And they, by the way, I just tell the Ox, they were a second division team in France. They're not even a first division team in France. So you can't take anything great away from it. And they controlled large parts of the game. Played some nice football at times. Good at running with the ball. Good at passing the ball. Good at moving into spaces. All the things that we want our team today. They done it better than us. But that's just as simple as that. But Asgard, from your point of view, done a couple of the wee back heel and the run into the box, and he took a nice penalty. That really was the only class bits a player that we had the whole night that I'd seen. Real class, I'm talking about. With other wee spells that were all right for a wee while, but that was the real class bits. And I'm saying that's what it's going to take to beat these teams that they the blocks. You know what I mean? I know they are a low block or anything like that, but when you get the teams that were and inevitably we're going to get it all season, low blocks, this is the sort of thing, skill level you're needing to break these blocks now. But apart from that, it was okay. We won the game. I said that they walked off the park, won the game. So I'm not arguing at the point. I know it's a friendly, but still, they played bad and won the game. And if they do that all season, they'll win the league. It'll not be pretty to watch, right enough, but they'll win the league if they do it.
Oh, we might be used to that. We'll be watching unpretty games, aren't we? But hopefully, as you say, if you can play ugly and win, then you would take it all day. But AK, Albert touches on there the personnel. One point I touched on Wednesday night on the show. At one point, especially that second half when Devlin came on, it was 4 defensive midfielders across that middle of the park. And I think that's where still work needs to be done. And obviously, Albert mentioned young Finlay Curtis. He went to Kilmarnock, he worked well with Neil McCann. Get into the Scotland team, of course, goes to the World Cup. Put in some good performances down at Kilmarnock. But he was on that right-hand side. Were you surprised to see him out on the left to start with? And do you think he'll see as much game time as people maybe want him to be this season?
Well, he kind of swapped between wings. Played a few positions down at Kilmarnock. To be fair, Rob, I think McCann tried him even at right back on an occasion, which is certainly no his position. But I think the structure of the team, I did see a structure of the team. Your flat back four, the shape was there. The shape was there in the midfield, out of possession. I'm talking about, but the movement for Chermiti and Shanklin wasn't particularly good. I mean, there was occasions where I can think of Finlay Curtis was making a run, but it wasn't spotted. So you've not got that creativity in the midfield to spot the runs. So we're definitely missing that, and I think that's in the pipeline. Hopefully, with the young boy Dow to come in. There's others going to be coming in. I'm pretty sure, and there's others going to be moved out. But personally, see, because we don't have Tavernier now, it's a new venture. Rob McCrory is a completely different fullback for him. So he's going to hold his position more than what Tav would have done before that. So for me, you need a right-footed player to be, gaining us a width on that right side. Diamondi's left-footed. He was coming inside all the time, expecting McCrory to overlap him. He wasn't doing that. And probably near should he. You need that width for a right-sided player and just give them license to go at their full back through that position. The left side is a wee bit different because you're expecting Romans to be marauding up and down the park, but Finlay Curtis wasn't covering for him. Chukwani wasn't coming across. Fernandez wasn't coming across, and that's where our problems was getting highlighted with St Etienne, because they were picking out the space, and better teams will punish us. St Etienne were nice in possession, but they didn't really penetrate us. The better quality team is going to dismantle us and punish us a wee bit more than what happened there. But again, we're looking on it, we're critiquing the game as we fin it. At the end of the day, it's a friendly. At the end of the day, we win, but there's a lot of things that need to get improved on. And I think the better the personnel coming into the team, I think you'll see a better performance out them. But it's not going to happen right away. We're going to have these teething problems, but we need to try and get things worked out a week a night. We start the league campaign, so we've not got much time to go. But he needs to rectify as much as he can. But attitude is the big one for me for Wednesday that I took out.
Albert, you mentioned Cammy Devlin earlier on when you were talking, and I think that's a guy who brought that bit of energy about that midfield, and he is obviously a new arrival. He actually spoke to Rangers TV after the game, so we can hear from Cammy Devlin. We'll get your view on that as well.
Hi Cammy, there's a lot of midfield players at this club, and there's a lot being linked with the club as well. How big a challenge do you think it's going to be to establish yourself as regular as you were playing at Hearts?
Yeah, it's a massive challenge. I think when you come into a club of this size, with the history of winning, you're expected to. Not that at Hearts I expected to play every week. That definitely wasn't the case because there's such good players there as well. But I think it's normal to be linked with good players that are costing a lot of money, and I think that's, if you come here and don't expect that, you're probably not in the right headspace. So I think that's normal. I've never got anywhere in my life without just fighting as hard as I can and working as hard as I can, and that's what I'll continue to do. I'm obviously fortunate enough to be sitting here in this position today as a Rangers player, and it wasn't easy to get here. And like I say, same as anything, same as going to the national team, it's really hard to get there, but it's harder to kind of stay there and keep performing. So that's something that I pride myself on, my hard work, just every day, treating every training session game like it might be my last. And I'll do that here at Rangers. I'll do everything I can to be the best teammate, the best player I can be, the best person I possibly can be. And there'll definitely be challenges. There's a lot of great midfielders. I've only been here a couple of days training with the boys. But the quality within the squad, which I already knew because I've played against them, is really high. Obviously, with the manager coming in, there's a new way of playing, and I just hope we can be as successful as we possibly can be. And I think it's healthy competition at the end of the day, and whoever's playing the boys at Arn will be right behind their teammates.
Thanks for that, Fox. Albert, it goes without saying, it's always the same kind of thing you say when you hear a player speaking when they've joined the club. They speak well, but I think when you look back at his performance that he put in that second half, you saw what Cammy Devlin brings. He gets the fouls, he does the fouling. Could he surprise a few people this season?
Well, I mean, we've got to be honest. And my opinion is Cammy Devlin's never going to be good enough for Rangers. He's not good. He's not a good enough player. But what? And the rest of them should be hanging their head in shame when he came onto that part and showed them how to play midfield. But what he has got that the rest of them have no got is sheer will and desire, and just get tore in and be a wee needle and a wee nuisance and get about the park. He's got that in spades, mate. He's definitely got that in spades. He's got that above any other player in that squad. And that's what he's got. That's his big plus. Now, there's a problem that goes with that. What he got away with Hearts, he's not going to get away with Rangers. That's just because we definitely get refereed to a different standard, mate. And he's not getting the boy. I mean, he done a couple of things there on Wednesday night, and you get to highlight what he's all about. But it worked, you know what I mean? But see, like say, if it's a league game with your Walsh and the rest of the cronies, see that first tackle, he's booked, mate. He's just booked right away. And that's the sad thing about it. But that's the thing I do like about him. He's going to put himself about. He's definitely going to himself. And he's no way. And the other thing I liked about him was he's shirking players. He shirked that big Fernandes for doing something. Just telling him, what are you doing? What are you trying to do? It doesn't make any sense. You're not playing like a professional football player. You're playing like somebody that's playing over the park in a five-a-side game. I like that about him. But skill-wise, I know McKinnon said he's a better player than people think. Let's hope he proves that. I hope he proves that. Because me personally, I don't think he's good enough to play for Rangers. But I like his attitude. I definitely like his attitude. And I like the way he gets tore in. And he doesn't hide. He's not a cheat. He doesn't hide. You're getting everything he's got, you're getting it on the park. And I like that in a player. I like wee Barnes the same. But Barnes is not as nasty as him. He's not as clever when it comes to winding people up. Same with Cameron. Cameron will run all day and all night. You're not going to tire that boy out. But he's not got the way about him that Devlin's got. So I think he's going to be effective if we play him the right way. But I expect him to be sitting in the stands a lot of the season. I must admit. I hope not, mate. I really hope not. But I know these referees, you know these referees. We know what's coming.
AK Albert makes a good point. Devlin does play on the edge. That is his style of play. If he is going to be that disruptive midfielder that arguably we've lacked for a number of seasons, somebody that gets stuck in, he will be one that the referees are targeting, but it's how he is game smart and how McInnes uses him. There will be games where, like on Wednesday night, maybe it does need a Cammy Devlin in there just to get control, boss the midfield, stick a leg in. But it's about being smart, as Albert says.
He's got to keep his discipline. I agree with what Albert's saying there. I think he's doing him a disservice. So we're saying he shouldn't be playing for us. I think he is good enough to play for us because we've seen some draws over the years. Albert, I'm sure you'll agree there. The guy's attitude is bang on. He's willing to work. He's realised where he is now, and he's going to give everything for the minutes that he is giving out there. Is he limited on ability? Aye, he's not the best player in the world. But sometimes that we can just take players to our heart just with endeavour. You might not be the best player in the world, but if you're going out there and wanting to give 110%, then that'll do for me. And I'm pretty sure Cammy Devlin's that type of player, so we know exactly what we're getting with him. It's not as if we went to like a Scandinavian market and we're all guessing what we got to get here. We've been missing a physical presence in that midfield for me for Lundstrom left, and there was a lot of Rangers supporters out there. Wasn't his biggest fan, but the big guy, played exceptionally well for the year we got to Seville and we won the Scottish Cup. So it's subjective now, but I do share concerns about his discipline. He's got to hold his discipline. I mean, he's on that part there 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and he's getting stuck in. If that happens in the league game, you pick up an early booking with these referees. That's you could be hooked after 20 minutes because we can't afford to go down to 10 minutes. So I think McInnes has got to hammer it into him exactly what Albert's saying to him. You play for us. You've got to be, good as gold, but still try and do your job to the best of your ability. But everybody else has got to stick in round about him. Dan Neil for me the other night. For me, he was a midfield general. You could hear him orchestrating what was happening round about him, but he was getting outnumbered a few things because Chotwani wasn't pulling in. He wasn't covering Fernandes. Fernandes wasn't covering Romans. It was disorganised chaos, but the majority of the problems was coming by players who've been there for a few years. It wasn't the new players. I thought Godfrey had a decent game, but again, Fernandes was, he was just roaming all over the place. You can't afford that to be indisciplined like that and be lack of awareness, a lack of players, lack of the awareness of the guy running in behind you into the space. You can't have that. No playing for our club. So, and that's Fernandes being there and for the term of the year that he was, getting all the plaudits and then just going out there and just saying, well, this is Rangers, we're at home, we're playing nobody, we'll just roll. You can't do that. And if he doesn't learn that by now, then I'm sorry. I wouldn't be missing him, to be honest with you, if he decide to punt him. And Chermiti was the exact same. That's just how I thought.
Oh, but you might find this a wee bit surprising, but do you know Diamondi has a worse discipline record than Cammy Devlin?
When he surprised me. But the trouble we've got now is Devlin's playing for Hearts and Diamondi's playing for Rangers. It just proves the point what I'm trying to say. We get refereed to a different standard. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. You all know that yourselves, and that proves the point. Because Diamandi's nowhere near as a needle as a wee digger the way Devlin is. But yet he's got a burst of discipline. Work it out, mate. Work it out. It's as simple as that. But Devlin's here to prove that he's not only what we know he is. He's here to prove what McInnes says he is. He's a better football player than we realise. I hope he's right. I don't doubt the man saying that, and I don't doubt Devlin is that. So I'm looking forward to seeing the boy. But put it this way, here asks another question. When the window shuts, if Devlin's a first-team choice in our team, Do you think you're in trouble? You think, oh, that's no good. Or is Devlin not going to be a first choice in the team? Is he a starter? That's the concerns I've got. If Devlin's a starter, good on the way, man, because he's doing his job. But I'm looking for better quality than that. I don't know about you, but I'm looking for better quality than that. Yeah, and I'm not trying to play the guy down. I'm just telling you that I don't see him as technically a brilliant player. He's no, but he will get the rest of them going. I'll give him that. And he'll set standards for them. But again, maybe that's what we need. Maybe he should be a starter. Maybe he should be all the team round about him. And say to these so-called superstars who, in their own heads, superstars, to say, look, you need to start following what the boy's doing. He's putting the work in. He's not only putting the work in, he's getting the tackles in. He's getting to players. I've watched so many Rangers players over the years who just play chases. They run after players, but they never catch anybody. They never get to the tackle. They never put the tackle in. They just keep running up. They either run just behind them or beside them, but they never actually get the tackles in. A lot of the time, we've got to be a team that's, as McKenna says, that people don't want to play. We've got to get back to that. Nobody wanted to play Rangers. They got and play their hardest, but they never really wanted to play because they knew if Rangers switched it on and were playing well, it's just how many. So we need to get back to that. And we were nasty as well. We never took any crap off anybody. So we're nowhere near that. Let's hope the players that are coming in and the attitude of the manager, background staff, the club itself is changing back to where it should be. The Ibrox should be a hellhole for any team coming in, an absolute hellhole. At the moment, it's no. You watch Motherwell, I've watched Hibs, I've watched Hearts, I've watched them all. I've watched every single team in that Premier League coming there and strutting about Ibrox as if they own it. That should not be allowed to happen, ever. If they're going to try and strut, some of them should be end up in the stands. You know what I mean? I don't know. We're just too nice a team, too nice a guys. After it has to change, mate. I know that's no good football and that's no pretty football and that's not what everybody wants to watch. But at the end of the day, everybody's inflicting it on us. You've got to be standing up to yourself. As Walter and them used to say, you've got to win the battle first before you can play the football. Get allowed to play the football. You've got to win the battle. We don't win enough battles.
Well, you mentioned players coming in there, Albert. And of course, yesterday the club announced the signing of Vanja Dragojevic, 20-year-old Serbian from Partizan Belgrade. AK, another defensive midfielder. Some people will highlight that point, but I think there was a lot of noise around this guy. And from what I've read online, I'll be honest, I don't know much about him, but reading the stuff online, Partizan weren't they really willing to let him go so easily. They've got, obviously, he's been captain for the past year at the age of 20. So your thoughts on that signing, mate?
I think that's one that's been in the pipeline for a wee while. I don't see that as being a McInnes one that's went. He's one for me. I think that's one that Dan Purdy and the kind of recruitment team has been covering and scouring Europe for these particular players for a wee while. They've recognised we need a bit of dig there. He's a young boy, he's a leader, captained Partizan Belgrade, and he's just one for the future. But we've got him in now. I liked his wee kind of cameo, the videos and that they put out on social media. He's impressed with Ibrox. His slight interview there in the main stand. He's looking forward to the challenge ahead, and he sees himself, climbing the ladder. And that this is the next step for him, coming to our club, because it's still recognised abroad, and what we've done that European run is still fresh in the memory of a lot of these players. So that's the reason why he's at our club. And if we can get 3 or 4 good years out of him and then move him on the way we should be doing, then I'm all for that. But he looks a good one. His leadership qualities is there, so he's willing to take responsibility, and we'll almost know what sort of player he is when we see him in the flesh. But I'm looking forward to seeing him, hopefully on Sunday when he takes to the field, if his visa's cleared or not, mate.
Albert, your thoughts on the Dragojevic?
again, you don't know much about the boy, but to all accounts, he's a bit of a warrior. You know what I mean? So I've just watched the wee clip of him signing, and he comes out as a confident boy, a mature, confident boy. I don't, and he looks as if he's not going to take any nonsense. He's just, if you want to battle, we'll battle. You want to play football, we'll play football. And that's the type of player we're needing. I don't know. We'll see when we see when he's actually playing on the park. So we're starting to, for their reputations, Devlin, him, Neil, we're starting. Well, not so much Neil right enough, but we're starting to get players that can handle themselves on the park. So, they're not going to take any nonsense. I'm super happy about that one, mate, honestly. But again, time will tell. We'll need to see how he settles in. It's where's he going to play, what positions he going to play, what they're going to ask him to do. Obviously, he's got a set style of play. That's the reason he's here. So they may want him to be the guy on the middle of the part of the. I was going to say the enforcer, but you know what I mean. Somebody's going to solidify it at the middle of the park. He looks as if he can work as well. Devlin looks as if he can work. And that's a good thing. We Barron works his socks off. We say that all the time. We Barron, you can't fault him for effort. Again, he's just a lack of skill, a wee bit of passing ability and things like that. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm looking forward to seeing that boy, to be honest with me. But we have chased him for a while, according to rumours. We've chased him. So I'm looking forward to him, mate.
Aye, hopefully we get to see him on Sunday. Hopefully get some minutes and we get to have a first look at him. But we can actually now hear from Vanja Dragojevic.
You were the captain at Partizan last season. Did you enjoy that leadership role?
That leadership pushed me forward because from young age I was learned to be a champion, to be a leader. I like the pressure, and when I have the pressure and these things to lead, I'm always on 100%.
Yeah, you're still a young player, only 20 years old, but do you feel as if you've experienced a lot in your career so far?
Yeah, for me, I don't see me as a young player, you know, because I think age is just a number. So I think the experience that I got in last club and the tough times that I get through, and I think I got a lot of experience, and that I now ready for new challenges.
Yeah, and on the pitch, how would you describe your qualities as a player?
Honestly, I don't like to talk a lot about me as a player, but if I need to say, I would say that my biggest quality is to sacrifice for the team and to lead by example.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Thanks again for that, Fox. Yes, folks, give us a call. Spoke about the game on Wednesday night there. Dragojevic, if you've got any points in name, give us a call, let us know where you see the way it is at the minute, where we're sitting with the squad, and anything else at all. We're going to touch on the off-field matters that took place this week. Obviously, there was charges brought by the SFA to the club on Tuesday, followed up by a charge for Derek McInnes on Wednesday for comments from last season. But AK, if we start with the news on Tuesday, the independent review was concluded in both sets of clubs of the Old Firm being charged by the SFA. I think the hearing for that is August the 13th. We'll obviously wait and see what the punishment is, but your take on the statement or the review itself, mate, and then of course the club's response to that.
Statement. Which statement? They were blaming both clubs, but in particular Rangers. Amazing how the SFA admonished themselves for any responsibility for that debacle, what happened in the first place. The totally, declined any of the what would you say, the kind of failures that Rangers foreseen could happen with the ticket allocation. I know it's in the SFA rules that the 20% you can ask for, but we've got a history here of this fixture to, it's a grade A level for Police Scotland to look after the fixture, and that was even just with less than 1,000 Celtic supporters in the corner. Then it got increased to the European kind of allocation of just over 2,000, I think it was, about 2,500, which was fine. Again, that was dealt with, and barriers and all that get put up, and so that Celtic supporters could get to the game and then away from the game without any interference with any Rangers supporters. We're not afforded that, by the way, when we go there. So we have a far better approach to that, I would say. But then the SFA pushed for, no, you need to give them 20%, and they finally agreed to say, right, 8,000, which gave them the full Broomloan Road stand. Now, on the back of that, it's obviously, as I said, it's a grade A fixture with Police Scotland. Police Scotland is then up to them, surely, for the security outside the check tickets, which the Celtic supporters, quite a number of them, bars through the ticket lines. That they took advantage of a disabled ticket holder getting into Ibrox through the open doors, so the bars their way into the stand ticketless. So there was a lot more Celtic supporters attended that day, and a good number of them would have been Green Brigade, who were incidentally banned for attending their home games, but they could get tickets through Celtic for that game. And then obviously what happened at the end of the game, where they spilled onto the pitch, I think that was the fourth time that it happened in the entire season, and they got a slap in the wrist. But the damage that they have caused, Rangers are claiming over £1 million, substantial damages, and the graffiti on the wall and everything, that's just sideswept. That's swept under the carpet. SFA, nah, it's just exuberance. The Celtic statement came out that Brian Wilson, their chairman, has admonished any responsibility that Celtic had on the day. The fact that it was under-policed and under-stewered at that end of the ground, at that stage of the game, is 100% responsibility on the lack of stewarding, the lack of police, and the lack of security. But for them to be then celebrating on the park, that triggered the UB to come onto the park. Now, I'm not excusing that. Nobody should be on the park at all. But the fact that they were on the park for as long as what they were triggered the Rangers support. And they're saying they weren't good in the Rangers support. That's rubbish, because we've seen it. They go out to the main stand and what have you. But Scottish football was a dark day for Scottish football. But to lay the majority of blame on Rangers for the SFA and nothing said about the policing or that as well, I thought was, I'll use Derek McInnes's word, disgusting.
Albert, same question to yourself for your thoughts in reaction to the charge to the club in relation to the Scottish Cup game.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, you may as well rip that up and use it as arse paper. That's what it's good for, know what I mean? Because who are these people? Anyway, that's the first question I want to know. Who these independent report? Who's the author of this? Let's hear who that is for a start. Then to mention about crowd letting we've already had a vandalism. We've had them on the park 2 or 3 times during the game. They've pushed their way into the stand. And what did they come out with in the report? We're looking to get the crowds back to what they used to be. How stupid is that? They forced their way in. They've caused all that damage. But the way to resolve that is keep letting them in. Let them in. Let them on. Nah. Stupid, mate. It's a stupid report. Bin it. It's a lot of crap. Said before, and I said it would happen. It's going to be part and parcel here. There's four guilty parties here. There's Rangers, there's Celtic, there's the SFA, and there's the police. And it's past the parcel. And the music stopped. Whoever's holding the parcel is going to be hit. And it looks like the Rangers are going to be hit. But that's if we sit to lie down and take this. I think we should ignore it completely, utterly. Ignore the report. Ignore the recommendations, because it's utter garbage. I'm not condemning the UB. I'm supporting the UB 1,000%. They've done the right thing. They sit and watch for home, for spiritual home getting wrecked and getting abused, and we have to stand back and take it. Well, the SFA can take the what's good for Scottish football and ram it right up the ring as far as I'm concerned. I am not wearing it, mate. Not in the slightest. They're at their usual. abused kids for 50 years. We've never done that. We don't do that. Oh, we never done that. Well, you're going to expect them to take the responsibility of what they've done that day? No chance. They never take responsibility of anything, mate. According to them, they've got high morals. Not. They're any club you can tell them to get a wash, as Broxy showed them. And they mentioned we're mascot in the report is what kind of people are these people? They're just stupid beyond belief, mate. No, it's not for me. The whole report is garbage, mate. I'm not taking anything out of that report. Nonsense. Total, utter nonsense. Rangers warned them they didn't want to let them in. Rangers warned the police. The police even warned the SFA not to let them in. And they forced the rules. They forced the rules. So that's down to them. No Rangers, that's down to them. If they'd have followed Rangers' lead, that wouldn't. None of this would have happened. None of it would have happened. But they didn't. The followed. The Scums lead, the Foe lead, the Rain lead, because they're replacement men for that mob across the city. So they wanted them in, right? So they got them in, and the ones that weren't allowed in, the police didn't even try to stop them. They just barged their way by the police. I asked the police about a tunnel once. There's a tunnel, and he told me, "We hang on here to give you information." That's what he says to me. Once an Old Firm game, if they can walk right up and throw them out the way, just walk straight into the stadium. What's happening here? The security of Rangers with these stewards, they're just holding up a uniform. You're not expecting them to actually stand and fight these people because they're animals, total and utter animals. They desecrated the stands, over £1 million worth of damage. I mean, what's that tell you? It's just stupid, mate. I'm not wearing it. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm not wearing it. I might be saying the wrong things here. I don't care. I'm not wearing it, mate. I would never let them in the ground ever again. I even didn't want to let the 800 in. And that's another point. That tunnel set up for like that, the 800 scum in, the pedos. They let the 800 pedos in. I wouldn't let them in. I would just ban them completely. I'd ban them for Scottish football if I had my way, to be honest with you. So it's a case of kick them out, keep them out. Don't let them in. Don't let them in at all. They can't control themselves, mate. At the end of the day, it's going to be down to Rangers. And if we don't fight this and try to get some of these placement groups out, it's just going to be the same, rinse and repeat. The next step is whatever the next step's going to be, but it's not going to be in Rangers' favour, I know that. So that's my opinion on it, mate. I would not listen to that report. I'd just rip it up. Throw it in the bin. It means nothing. It came out with no ideas. Heavier sanctions. There's another one. Heavier sanctions. Funny, isn't it? They want heavier sanctions now. After all the pitch invasions they've done this season, now we'll have rules for it. No get rules before it. No anything can be done with these people. Wait till all happens, then come out with the rules. First person. They've been doing it near enough all season. The Rangers fans come out in the front, the UB come out in the park, and the first thing they all pick up is UB. They mentioned the UB in the report. Did they mention the Green Brigade? No. Oh, I think they did. Wait a minute, that's true. I think they did. It had to be forced because they mentioned the UB. Nah, as far as I'm concerned, we all should join the UB. Well, they're going to ban us all. Ban the whole crowd, 50,000 is. Everybody's got a season ticket, join the UB. Well, they can't ban us all, can they? Well, they can try. But we all should join it, mate. Stand up to these people. These people are completely, utterly useless at what they're doing. They've not got the foggiest idea how to maintain, first of all, Scottish football and then put it on to the next level and grow it. They've not a clue, mate, what to do. It's same. And if we sit back and don't fight this, well, we're going to get the same. And I know we're going on to the mechanics carry on, so wait till we go into that before a day we'll have my say on that one.
Now you get a breather in there before you come back to that one. AK is Glenn pointed out there. They blame everyone except themselves, blaming a mascot. Really, that's the state of Scottish football. We're now blaming a mascot for goading and enticing the away support. Did they forget the abuse they gave Santa?
Aye, it wasn't a Merry Christmas either. Listen, you're talking about the mentality of the support that complain to the police because Cherny sprayed them with water. That's the mentality that you're dealing with here. And now poor Broxy Bears getting the blame it because he was goading them. it's listen, all bears right with a lot of it. He says it's just you're basically letting a bully you. So we've been bullied for long enough. It's not just us. The rest of Scottish football. We asked them years ago. We need to disband these committee and disband the personnel that's on the committee. Your Murdo McLennan, your Neil Doncaster, your Mulroney, your Willie Collins. These are all the guys that are making the decisions, and they're no favourable to any other club bar one. So the sooner all these guys get disbanded and removed from these committees, the better for Scottish football. Scottish football, there was a spotlight on it for a lot of the season because of the unusual circumstances. We've not had a winner outside the Old Firm in over 40 years, and they've seen how well Hearts were doing, and they were right in it. Well, the spotlight was on Scottish football right to the end of the season there, and everybody seen the decisions that happened at Fir Park, not just their game, but the week before, or even 3-4 days before that, when Hearts went there and were denied no one penalty, 2 penalties. If Hearts win that game, if Celtic don't get that penalty and finish a draw, it doesn't even go to the last game of the season. Hearts have won the league that night, and that's what's triggered Derek McInnes, I think, when he's a mic's pushed in front of him in front of the camera. That's what's triggered Derek McInnes. I can't blame him. His team's been top of the league for 95% of the season, and then when he sees two decisions for the officials in a close proximity as what they were, Hearts no getting penalties when they should have, and them getting a penalty when it wasn't. And even what do you call that committee? The independent committee that looks at all these VR decisions, they even said that wasn't a penalty. All the English media all said it wasn't a penalty. So it's titled deciding decisions that the officials has made, and they've robbed Hearts a title last year. They've cheated them. But now, because you highlight these things, you put that in the spotlight, the SFA are intent in silencing, deny and deflect. That's been their way for a good number of decades. They're good at it, but they don't like it when they're put in the spotlight, mate.
But it's interesting you use the word deflect there, mate. One thing from the report that stood out to me, I mean, there was a number of things that stood out in particular. Some things you had to laugh at, some things you were scratching your head at. If nobody's read it, then if you need a bedtime story, it's a lengthy one, but get a read. Mike Mulroney, president of the SFA, was asked by Rangers, is it going to be the standard allocation, as you said earlier on, AK, the shorter, lower allocation because it's an Old Firm game, or is it the 20% cup? Given the fact that there was a lot of noise sounding this, it was going to be the first time that potentially a full stand was given in a number of years. The response from Mulroney, I thought, was ridiculous. I quote, "Don't bounce it back to us. 20% is more than 8,000. All bear."
Tells you what you want to know, mate. They're incompetent clowns, mate. Everybody knows it. As far as the league last year concerned, the whole of Britain, the whole of Europe now see it. It's not just Rangers. They're a laughingstock of Europe, mate. Utter laughingstock of Europe. So they know what's going on up here. And then that statement for him just proves the point. They're hopeless, mate. Absolutely hopeless. But again, how do you get them out? I know some people have been listening to the podcast and putting to their statements about certain things we've been saying, but I'm famous for confusing pedos. That's one of my skills. I'm really good at it. You know what I mean? So if they don't understand what I'm trying to say here, listen to this. Yous are out of order and cheats. That's what yous are. Now we've got the Hearts manager with us. It's our fight now. It wasn't our fight before, but it is now because we're protecting our own manager. And Rangers are right to appeal it and right to say, we're no wearing this. Absolutely no wearing this. Because there's presence already been done regarding what he said. It's already, people have already said all what he said and walked away with nothing. So a 4-game ban or 3-game in 1 game. I never understood that one. What's this 3-game in 1 suspended to the end of the seasons? It's not. It's totally nuts, mate. But it's incompetent clowns are running the game, and they need to be removed. And it's not just one or two. All of them need to be removed, mate, because they haven't a clue what they're doing. Not a clue.
Albert,
yeah.
Albert, can I just throw something at you and Rob? Cast your mind back just a couple of seasons when Brendan Rodgers was their manager, and they get a decision at Tynecastle where I think it was Yang get sent off. Beaton was in VAR, and he came out and after it, and he named the officials. He criticised them, and for incompetence, and basically said that John Beaton should never officiate a Celtic match again. He got a 2-match ban, 1 suspended, so he served 1. The second game was against Rangers, and that was it. I mean, compare that to Derek McInnes calling it disgusting. There's no comparison.
The decision, there's no mention of him. His decision was disgusting, which it was. He's no lying, is it? It was disgusting. I'm a Rangers supporter, and I'm saying it's disgusting. Again, it's not a Davies. It's something to do with Hearts. But you're looking at it and saying, well, what do you say? What's he supposed to say? Nothing. Just sit there and take that. No, too many of the clubs have been sitting back taking it, thinking that, it's all right, it's just Rangers. It's no Rangers now, it's always, because it's going to cost you a lot of money. It's actually cost teams with some of their decision making in that SFA a lot of money. Partick Thistle, Falkirk, it goes on, by the way, it goes on and on and on right through the league. I don't understand why these clubs are no against these clowns running this game. They really should be looked at, mate. But again, I asked a question, and I'm still waiting for an answer. How do you remove them? Nobody knows. Nobody I've ever heard talking about it knows.
No, that's a key point, Albert, is they're in that position. Who calls it a day for them? Who's above them to make that decision? Because it's a pecking order of incompetence. You look at Willie Collum, and then you move up the chain. You've got Mulroney as the president of SFA, meant to see everything at that level. Nothing. Doncaster, nothing. There's nobody in there who can physically remove them because they're all too comfortable. And I think if any of us had a solution, you'd probably hear it by now, but between the 3 of us, I don't think we could come up with a solution that can actually force them out other than taking it the full hog. And I think the club and other clubs should start doing this. AK mentioned it. This wasn't just Scottish news. This highlighted penalty. This reached world media, pundits in England. Ian Wright was at a World Cup talking about the state of Scottish football. Okay, in a footballing level, but he spoke sense of everything that we have said for a number of years, and other people are now starting to really see how poor Scottish football is, and that's the level, it's the referees, it's the VAR decisions, it's everything to do with Scottish football is an absolute embarrassment. In my opinion, it's an absolute embarrassment, and there's no way forward because nobody's got an idea.
It's going to be rinse and repeat. That's what I'm saying. Next year, rinse and repeat.
Albert, can I just throw something as well at you there? They're saying that Derek McInnes' wording disgusting was insinuating that the officials were bent. Basically, it was a dodgy decision, blah, blah, blah. So what's Martin O'Neill insinuating when he says we should have got a blue card? Nothing, no punishment there, no?
They've been at it for years, mate. They've said lots of things for years and years and years. Well, maybe not for the last 10, 15 years, because they've got everything their own way. But before that, they were complaining and greeting and moaning and jumping up and down. And nothing ever happened. Slapping the wrist here, there and everywhere. But now it's a case of, it's blatant now, mate. It's just blatant and everybody knows it. And they're not trying to hide it anywhere. I mean, that Walsh, come on. Anybody tells me that guy's not a cheat, just doesn't know what's happening in life. No, I mean, he really is. He's bad, mate. Colum, he got promoted for telling lies and cheating as well. And then, by the way, how is not one single referee went to the World Cup, a major tournament? Not one single referee. Column's in there to improve. That's what you get the job for. That's what he all come out and said. He's going to come in there and improve refereeing. Has he improved refereeing? Well, Don't need to listen to us. Not one official went to the World Cup. Not one. He should be his job. As long as he's been in there 2-3 years now. Come on. Why is he still on a job? Tell me that. But again, it's jobs for the boys, aren't it? It's nobody knows how to get rid of these people.
I think we might need Donald Trump to pick up the phone and get a wee decision going our way.
Well, that shows you how corrupt that FIFA is. Trump can make a phone call and everything's changed. Everything's changed. I mean, even some of the FAs through Europe now are looking at that and saying that something needs to be done about that. I mean, that wee guy that runs FIFA, I mean, that's a falling your sword job, that one. How that decision get turned like that is ridiculous. So that's a free-for-all now. That's just a free-for-all. You can't have it, mate. Referees do make mistakes. You've got to admit that. They do make mistakes. That's fine. VAR then is there to reduce their mistakes. Okay, they've got them involved in more things than they were what there was at the beginning. So they do make mistakes. You've got to accept it. That's fine. But what we've got now is just utter cheating, man. It's just cheating now. It's beyond the belief. The guidelines for VAR is a clear and obvious mistake. That was the base for VAR. Clear and obvious. The penalty that they gave Scum against Motherwell, where's the clear and obvious mistake there? Nobody even slowing that down and looking for different angles. You can't tell that guy hit that with his horn. I mean, it's no clear and obvious. So why is it taken to VAR?
19 seconds, Albert. It took John Beaton to say, you're right enough. 19 seconds.
I know, but in real time, he didn't give the penalty. So if you're referring to VAR, he's missed something clear and obvious. So there isn't any clear and obvious there. So why is it going to VAR? The fact it only took 19 seconds to make the decision, which he didn't make because he's shouting at them, is it a penalty? Is it a penalty? And they're saying, Celtic supporters are saying, it is. Of course they're going to say it. They support the team. You're saying, well, that's cheating, guys. I'm sorry, but there's no other way of explaining that. It's just cheating. But that's just we all know it. It's laughable now, mate. It's just laughable. But anyway, it's rinse and repeat. If we don't do something about it, it's rinse and repeat. That's my point. And my point. What's happened in there can't be changed now. What's happened has happened. And the fights, particular fights, Motherwell's and Hearts. What the fight we've got now is Derek McInnes is our manager, and he's got a 4-game ban for something that's ridiculous, mate. It's a letter, a fine, maybe. But no, a 4-match ban. That's not acceptable, mate. I'm sorry, it's not acceptable. But there you go. We're dragged into it as usual. We're dragged into it. What do we do about it? No, we've got a dog in the fight. So we're going to let's fight, let's do it, and let's call for allies. Let's call for the rest of them to pull together, and let's see change. We want change. That's what we want. We want these people out because they're not doing any good for Scottish football. Let's put professional people in who are going to grow the game for a start, improve the standards. But first of all, you need to work out how you're going to get them out. You notice how quiet it is? Nobody ever mentions how you get them out. Nobody. Not one person I've ever heard. I'd love somebody to come up and tell. There must be some way of doing it. I just don't know it.
It's $1 million question, mate. But I think when you talk about the standards, thought the statement that the club put out on Wednesday night got straight to that point. Managers, players and clubs must be able to speak honestly about major decisions if Scottish football is serious about raising standards and maintaining trust. Scrutiny, transparency and accountability should be seen as part of improving standards, not as a threat to them. But we'll come back to that because Fox has got a wee tune for us.
How many years ago, my boys, I left the Glasgow town. I followed the pull of the Yankee land and here I'm settled down. Although I miss the Bridgeton Cross and my friends so near and dear, but I would give if I could have the Rangers over here. You can talk of California where the sun shines all the year. You can bomb my Bachelor Broad, we light so clear. But it would fill my heart with gladness, it would fill my heart with cheer, if we only had the Rangers over here. For they're the finest team in all the land, and I'm sure that you'll agree. To see them win is something grand, it's part of history. We're the boys who fear no noise, my lads, and I mean this quite sincere. What I would give if I could have the Rangers over here. Higginbuck of California, where the sun shines all the year. Higginbum about your Broadway life so clear. But it would fill my heart with gladness, it would fill my heart with cheer, and we only had the Rangers over here. Finest team in all the land, and I'm sure that you'll agree. To see them win is something grand, it's part of history. We're the boys who fear no noise, my lads, and I mean this quite sincere. What I would give if I could have the Rangers over here. You can talk of California, where the sun shines all the year. You can bum about your Broadway life so clear. But it would fill my heart with gladness, it would fill my heart with cheer, if we only had the Rangers over here. If we only had the Rangers over here. If we only had the Rangers over
here. While you are sitting listening on your own, why not take part and give us a phone? We would love to hear your points of view, so get off your bum and call 0141 356 1972.
Thanks for that, Fox. Yes, folks, give us a call, let us know your thoughts. We spoke about the other game Wednesday night, and this new signing Dragojevic, and of course the ban for Derek McInnes, which the club will appeal. We'll let you know the update of that once it's concluded. But AK, that's off-field matters that are going to, as Altbear says, impact this season, and particularly with Derek McInnes ban. And we'll see obviously what the outcome is of the club fine or charge as well from the SFA. But there is still lingering conversations between sections of the support from off-field matters of last season, and I know a lot of people want to pack up last season and only focus on the future. But over the weekend, mate, there's going to be some things that come to light that maybe give us some clarity, or maybe give us more questions and answers as well. AK?
I just caught it earlier on the day, Rob. Daily Record advertising they're going to have an exclusive interview with our former manager, Danny Rowe. Guy Scott McDermott's went out to Austria just to see what his time at Rangers was all about, and he's going to give you the full version of what happened during the season, how he got the job, how he got us back into the title race, what happened in Spain and what happened at the end of the season. Contentious subject with a lot of the Rangers support out there. See that for the forums and everything. I've got my opinion. You'll have yours. Come on and gaze it if you disagree, and we'll see where it happens. But it'll be good to hear the truth of what happened, because I don't believe Tavernier's statement for a minute. You know, you look at what the course of events happened. Cast your mind back to, we went to Falkirk and blitzed them second half to win 6-3. The team was buzzing, the support were buzzing. That was us going into the split 1 point behind Hearts and Celtic in third, and we were adamant that this was the time. We had the momentum Danny Rowe had collected more points than any of the other two teams that was in contention, and we were right on it. And then we come back. James Tavernier done an interview with Gordon Duncan with Sky, and just asked him about what happened in Spain. There was a good training camp, blah blah blah, all the usual questions. And of course, Tavernier said, "Aye, brilliant. Looking forward to it." He pushed him on his future. At that time, he was due to end his contract, and he said, "No, no discussions that took place." And he was just concentrating on the next fixture up, which was Motherwell at Ibrox. Then less than 24 hours later, he took to his Instagram and declared that he would be leaving Rangers at the end of the season. So obviously discussions did happen in Spain, and Tavernier was told that that was his term coming to an end at the end of the season. Now, for what I'm led to believe, Tavernier done that off his own back. The club didn't know nothing about him going rogue on that, and that was the last time Tavernier appeared in front of the media again to question them on it. So of course we knew what happened. Terrible display against Motherwell. We lost. We then goes to Tynecastle. We lost. We then goes to Celtic Park. We lost. So that's us basically out the title hunt. So now it comes to our final home game of the season against Hibs. I met yourself prior to the game, Rob. And then the text comes through that Tavernier wasn't on the team sheet, and he'd left Ibrox at that point in time. And I believe it took a phone call off of John Greggy's cell to get him back, because Rangers organised a presentation for him. But again, shortly after kick-off, he left Ibrox again, and that was the last time we seen our former captain. So something is what happened there. He took to Instagram again and gave his version of events, and I believe this Daily Record interview with Danny Rowe is Danny Rowe putting the record straight to exactly what happened, what gets said, blah blah blah. So take it for what you will. You'll either believe Tavernier or you'll believe Danny Rowe. You'll maybe think that the club has done poorly by Tavernier with no giving him a testimonial. But when people hear exactly what happened, they might change their mind on the point of view. But tomorrow will be interesting reading the article, exactly what Danny Rowe is going to say on the matter.
Albert, your thoughts on what could be revealed over the weekend, hearing from Danny Rowe firsthand?
Well, if it's with the record, it's not going to be good. I'll tell you that from right now. It's never good with them, is it? They're not any friends of Rangers, but I'll not read it in the record. I've not bought a record for over 30 years, I've told you before, but it is what it is. My understanding, by listening to the two of them previous, is that apart from the running was a collapse, a total and utter collapse, hopeless, mate, hopeless. The Motherwell game, I knew right away we weren't in the right mindset. We were a party before the game. The players were coming out in party mode as if we'd win the game, win the league. That's why they came out winning that park, and then we get beat. But after that, it was a case of, when we got to the last two games of the season, the medical staff, Rowe had said the medical staff phoned him and told him that Tavernier had to take an injection. He wouldn't be available for the Hibs or the Falkirk game. And he said, all right, I'll phone Tab. So Rowe phoned Tab and says, Tab, if you mind putting off the injection to after the games, or particularly the Hibs game. And Tab said, aye, okay. So he done that. And then at that time, the phone call, the time we go to the game, he'd made his mind up that Tab wasn't starting the game. But Tab said in his interview that he told his kids and all that they were getting to be about, one was getting to do a ball boy, and they were getting on to the partner or that carry on, which was fine. It's fine. And he'd be playing, which wasn't fine. It's not his place to say he's playing. The manager always, no matter who you are, always picks the team. He'll decide who plays, not the player. And he'd no right to say that to his family that he was playing. He might have thought he was playing with Rowe, and when we asked him to postpone his injection, that's fair enough. He's misunderstood the situation, but he still shouldn't have said that. But anyway, that's the way it happened. He gets to the ground and finds out he's not playing. Now, my problem with Tav for that point on was there was nothing to stop him taking the kids onto the park, taking the applause off the crowd. Nothing to stop him after the game, going round with his wains to the Rangers support after it. Nothing to stop him doing any of that. And the fact that John Gregg was standing in the park waiting to give him a presentation and he buggered off anyway. He knew all of this, by the way, and he buggers off. And then he comes back, gets his presentation, and buggers off again. He's in a bad mood. Okay, I don't buy. I'm not saying he shouldn't have been in a bad mood. He's in thoughts on the whole situation. He thinks he get mistreated or what he's thinking. But anyway, he wasn't hanging about. So I'm looking at that and saying, if that's the way it panned out, well, Tav, you're the one to blame. You're the one to blame. The guy was trying to give you your opportunity. You just weren't going to play that game, but you weren't starting the game. But you were going to get on, and you were going to get to say goodbye. You were going to get the kids on and walk around the park and do a lap of honour. That was all going to happen. But he didn't like it that way. He wanted to start the game. So that's the only problem that I've seen. But Tav made it out to be that he'd promised his kids this, promised his kids that, and all of a sudden he's made to look like a fool, which I don't think was true, mate. I think that was no. I was just trying to lay it on thick, you know what I mean? But there you go. That's what I understand. If that's what happened, that's the way I understood it. And I would say Tav's at fault now. But who knows, mate? It might not even mean that. There might have been lies telling in there. There might have been other things said. Nobody knows the full story anyways, but tomorrow the records seem to think they've got the full inside track on it. Well, they've got one side of the inside track. Obviously, Tavernier would want to say his bit as well. But there you go. There you go. Who knows, mate? I'll not be reading at the record anyway.
It's certainly going to bring some noise, I'm sure. And I know a lot of people would look at the timings of things last season, Nick, as you touched on before getting into the split. As you said, momentum was with us. Everything was looking good. We were in a good place. The squad was looking with the belief. The support certainly had the belief. A lot of fans will look at that trip to Spain. That happens every year. It seems to be just us it affects, but a lot of clubs do this winter break. But when you look at timings of things, the Spain trip, Tav's announcement, there is a lot of factors surrounding it. And as I said, you might get some clarity over the weekend. You might not. You might get some more questions and answers. Now, I might contradict myself here when saying you look at the timings then. Is the timing of this Danny Rowe interview just before the league starting noise that the club actually need, when the focus should be on the new season and not what's happened?
Well, you're probably right. You're probably right, mate. But at the end of the day, the record don't do anything for anybody but the record, and they're no Rangers, pal. They never have been. So if it can do maximum damage or cause maximum disruption within the club, that's what they're after. So we'll see what we'll see, mate. But as far as I'm concerned, the matter's done and dusted as far as I'm concerned. It makes no difference now who said what and who done what. Rowe's no there. Tavernier's no there. So what's the difference now? I don't see it as a big, giant, great exclusive. You'll get the Rangers haters, man. They'll read it to dig out some nasty stuff about Rangers if they can find it. That's what they always want to hear. But the rest is what difference does it make to the Rangers fans, one way or the other? Two of them are not there at the club anymore. So let's move on. As far as I'm concerned, let's just move on.
AK?
The timing is mischievous with Daily Record, but that's what they do. They're journalists, aren't they? They're there to throw spanner in the works, and they know exactly what they're doing. So that they've decided to go with this. Or maybe Danny Rowe didn't want to speak about it, but he's felt obliged that he has to clear his name, because you'll not see it, Albert, but on social media, there's only one person to blame a lot of the Rangers supporter, and that's Danny Rowe. They're all still mystified at how you can treat our captain like that. 11 years service and he sleeps out the back door, basically. They want a testimonial for him. Well, how his conduct was with Danny Rowe, And I don't think it just was with Danny Rowe. I think it was with Russell Martin. I think it was with Philip Clement. I think it was with Michael Beale as well, because there's a reoccurring theme there. And you can see he's playing his day. But hold on now, Albert. There's a reoccurring theme there. When we get in a position to challenge and they don't like the manager, or they don't like the way they're playing, or they don't get the contracts that they want, you're clicking that dressing room down stools. I seen it in Wednesday night there, and Tavernier wasn't on the park, but the attitude of Fernandez and Chukwane and Diamondi, that's only 3 players in that team. It's no coincidence to me that we've got rid of Butland, we've got rid of Tavernier, Kieran Doyle was already away, and Raskin will be away too, because he's a disruptive influence in that. Derek McInnes and Andrew Kavanagh and all of them, I think, have said, what's the problem here in this club? There's too many good players at this club to go trophyless, so there's an underlying problem there. And I think that's what they've eventually came to the conclusion, no, we need to get rid of all these guys, and a clear out mentality is required here. That's what I firmly believe. That's been going for years now, Albert, and it's the support that's suffering because we're divided as a camp. You've got Tavernier lovers out there, and you can praise his numbers up for all his wants, but see me, I couldn't give a monkeys about his numbers. I want trophies for my club, and if he's a problem in that dressing room, then good riddance for me.
The bottom line is we went to Spain to unite and come back strong as a team, to build the team, to get the bonds going for the run-in for the 5 games, and we actually come back a shambles. What a complete and utter shambles. Is it we actually get them all away for a week and they actually will find out things that they wouldn't on a day-to-day basis, but they actually find things out about each other? I don't know, mate. I don't know, but we come back a shambles. Didn't come back a united team, put it that way. Raskin disappeared as well. We remember he got a so-called hamstring or whatever it is. He didn't. My memory serves me right. He didn't play a lot of the 5 games, did he? So what happened? I don't know. Something happened. Nobody knows what happened. Bro might tell you tomorrow what happened. I doubt it, because that's not the professional circle, is it? They don't usually air their dirty linen like that. They might do it years later, but they'll not do it so soon. So it'll be interesting to see if he actually lets anything slip. What's to slip? If you tell the truth, and this is the way the events happened, that's what I said. That's what happened. But the reason it went to Tav camp and a roll camp is because Tav made it that way. Tav come out and said things that wasn't right. Roll just told you the sequence of events. That's what happened. The way he said it. That's why he's saying that's the phone calls was made. That was the conversations that were had. Tav knew didn't get picked. Wanted to do his own thing in the last game of the season at Ibrox. Didn't all pan out for him, and he fell out his tree. And we've never heard hiding or heard him since. Where is he? I mean, is he getting a testimonial? Is he not getting a testimonial? What's happened?
Albert, you said something there which interesting, because Rob mentioned it at the time as well, and I didn't think much yet. See, when Tav get told to take his painkilling injection, and he was willing to take that, so he would have missed the last 2 games of the season. See, when he mentions about his boy going to Holland, well, surely the boy knew that he was going to be missing out, or that he wasn't too particularly bothered about all this family thing going on in the park and all that. And I totally agree with you today. Andrew Kavanagh said, see, when you get thrown a Rangers jersey, you put it on. He could still have had his moment with his family, but the fact that he was still willing to take that injection and he was willing to miss the last 2, so why throw the thing with his boy and all that in his statement? That's a wee bit manipulative for me.
That's exactly, mate. If he takes the injection, he's not playing. And the medical staff advised him to take the injection. You need to take an injection. And it was Rowe asking him not to take it. He doesn't take it. So that means Rowe's trying to get him on the park. It's just when he's going to start the game. He'd have come on the game sometime. But he didn't like that. So that's what I see, and he's lost his rag. You know what happens when you lose your rag? You can say and do stupid things. And that's the thing. I think, personally, that's what happened. I think it was a storm in a teacup. We get blown right out of proportion. But the fact of the matter is, the club and the support were the more important things. And we didn't We fell apart in 5 games to go. We should have won the league or had a right good go at winning the league anyway. And we didn't. We just completely and utterly fell apart. And after a week's training camp that was supposed to unite us, bond us and bring us back stronger and more together, they've done the exact opposite. But there you go. That's just the way it is. I don't know what's happened. You might be right with the cleats. I know you're right with the cleats. I think we all know you're right with the cleats. We've all been saying it for long enough. There's a few bad apples in there. There's a few people that don't want to pull their weight when it comes to the act or the sacrifice when it's just about the team. They don't want to do it. They want to go their own way, that's fair enough. But you shouldn't be at a club like Rangers if that's your attitude. That's how I like what Devlin said. I'm a good team player. I want to help the team. I want to help my mates, and he's saying all the right things. And you're saying that's what should have happened with the rest of you.
Rob, what do you think? Everyone.
I think it, obviously, at the time, I think we've all said our piece on it. I think it was something that was blown out of proportion. I think it could have been handled a lot better from all parties, to be honest with you. I just think everything surrounding the time, it just brought a negative feel to it. I know that, as we said, the momentum was there, the belief was there, and it just turned. I know it slipped away before that night at Ibrox against Hibs, but everything just seemed to turn completely from that moment of coming back to Spain. And a lot of people will focus on that. I don't see Spain being the problem. I know it's happened a number of seasons, but as I said earlier, all teams do a winter break. They go away somewhere. It's about how the players come back stronger. As Albert says, we went there as team bonding, get stronger, get away from Scottish media, and as soon as we're back, it was just something happened that put the spotlight back on us, and it just completely derailed it. So it'll be interesting to see what's said by Danny Rule or what's put out by the Daily Record that Danny Rule said, because you're not exactly going to take Daily Record's words for gospel. I think we can all agree on that. But he's not sitting down himself putting out a statement. He's sitting down with a media outlet who we know can spin things to get stories. The timing of it, as I said earlier, seems a bit off, particularly this close to the season when all the focus should be on the league starting a week today. Derek McInnes is in the door. We've got 7 signings in the door. There's still work to be done. We know it. It just seems like there's something trying to be built around to disrupt us. The SFA are doing their bit by getting a manager touchline ban. The media are now going to put this out. It's just let's see what we can do to disrupt Rangers any way possible from a good start. And I think the focus is trying to be taken away from going and getting that good start. So, as I said, it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next 24 or 48 hours and the fallout from that, mate. But we'll spin it back to the current squad, AK, and you touched on there the leadership group. And we know that Andrew Kavanagh came out at the end of the season and said that leader on the park was an issue. Supposedly Danny Rule told him we needed leaders after the Tynecastle game against Hearts. The signings in the door, AK, you've got to say, Dan Neil, ex-captain, Lawrence Shankland, ex-captain, Dragojevic, captain. McInnes has said he wants a team of leaders. He's not telling you who his captain is. He wants a team of captains. We're certainly addressing that issue.
Absolutely. And I actually go back to an interview that young Mikey Moore did at the end of the season. I think it was after Falkirk, and he intimated that there was a lack of leaders in the dressing room and it needs to get addressed. Well, Derek McInnes is certainly addressing it. We're used to, I mean, we've been saying it for long enough as other pods. You know, we recognise when leadership on the park, there's players that are hiding on the park and you can't do that, no nor shut. You know, so the fact that they have been, you know, captains at other teams before they come to us is a good thing, because in our most successful years, you didn't need to wear the armband to be considered a leader on the park. You had McCoy, Mark Gately, John Brown, Andy Gorham, David Robertson, McCall, Ian Ferguson. You know, that was a great Rangers teams that I grew up on. Albert will go back further than that. We had Colin Steens and Alec MacDonald, and Sandy Jardine, Derek Johnson, players of that ilk. That's what you need. You need a special character to wear our jersey. It's all very well being a very good, talented footballer, but there's a lot more ingredients that you need to be a success at our club. And I think that's where Cammy Devlin comes into that category. He's no fear to go out there and dig guys out. I mean, that's his first time wearing our jersey, and he's digging out other players on the park for not doing the job that they should be doing. The intensity needed to be upped, and you need that wee spark. You need that fresh approach, fresh pair of eyes, fresh attitude to come into your changing room and change things, because it's been too safe for too long, and we're not winning anything. 2 trophyless seasons at Rangers is unacceptable. So there's a lot of change that Derek McInnes is currently making. He knows what's required, but he's also in a position himself where he's got a lot to prove. He's been 19 years a manager, and he's only won 1 trophy. So he'll be desperate to be a success at Rangers, to lift, silverware for our club, because he grew up a Rangers supporter. His family's all Rangers supporters, and this is his destiny. Basically, his whole career has been aimed at getting this Rangers manager's job. So he's in there, I've got to win. I've got to win. And I've got to put my stamp on the team. And I think that's what you'll see out of these Derek McInnes teams. It might not be pretty on the eye, but that's, if you're walking away with 3 points, a lot of the league games, that's what wins you leagues. And you've got to instill that character, personality, belief, everything into that team that's out in the park. So if you're not willing to put the miles in and go with them, then we need to leave these guys behind now, because we've not won enough for the financial, everything that we've put into the club. We're not getting back as what we should be getting. So I'm excited, to be honest with you. It's got to be a challenge, but I'm pretty sure that McInnes will be the man to get us there, because God only knows we've been craving success for long enough now, and it's about time it happened.
Oh, but it's not just the squad, as AK said, that Derek McInnes needs to change the players, the personnel. He needs to change the trend that we've been on of going trophyless. As AK said, trophyless the last 2 seasons. For you, what's your realistic expectations of Derek McInnes this season? As much as everybody out there, myself included, would want the treble, is it realistic after being trophyless for so long?
I'm not looking at it that way, mate. I'm looking at it, if you're going to build a team and get the building blocks in place to be successful, whether it's 1 cup, 2 cups, a treble, who knows? You need to get the fundamentals right. And what I see Derek McInnes' big pluses and what he's really good at. He's probably better than other things other than what I'm about to say, but he's got the ability to build a team that bonds together and fights as a team. That's what his big asset is. That is his big plus in my eyes. He's got tactical now as well. He knows how the game works. He knows that, but that's his big. If he can get that team and that squad bonding and playing as the team and getting the desire into that team, and he's done it everywhere he's went, mate. That's what I'm saying. That's his speciality. The rest it takes care of itself. The players actually take care of what's needed on the park. He'll put them out and he'll put the structure in place and he'll tell them the tactics and all that. But if they're not, and tactics don't always work, we know that with every team in the world. But with the good teams, the brilliant teams, they find a way to win. They fight to find a way to win. And that's great. Doesn't matter what's put in front of them, what setbacks is, they just find a way to win, and they're all together. A team when they're all together. They'll run through brick walls for each other. They'll go that extra mile all the time. They see their mate in trouble, they'll help them out. If they get substituted, there's no huffs. You're no playing, there's no huffs. Everything's for the benefit of the team and the club. He's good at building that. That's a big plus for a manager, a football manager, any team. That's a big plus. If you can get that and you're good at building that. You know how to build that. You know to weed out the wrongins and get rid of them. Bring in the ones that you think, Devlin and players like that who are team players. And the wee boy's saying it. You know it yourself. You've seen him charging about for Hearts. The boy is a team player. Barnes a team player. And if you can get the rest of them to buy into that, there is players that it's difficult to manage and difficult to get them into that situation. That's how that role was shouting, "Get me leaders." We outplayed Hearts, and if you remember the game, we totally outplayed Hearts in that first half. They couldn't get near us, man. They couldn't lay a glove on us. In fact, Shanklin started fouling to try and get them into the game, a wee bit like Devlin done against St Etienne. He started laying in and just being a wee bit late and laying one on players just to get into the game. But in the second half, we just completely collapsed, and that's what Rowe was trying to say. Get me leaders. Leaders see that, sense it, and don't let it happen. They fight harder. They organise themselves in the team. It's like he said about St Etienne the other night. The first 10 minutes of the game, we were good. We were in the game. But he says St Etienne, the team actually worked it out and actually started altering their style and the way they were going about it. That's the players doing that. That wasn't the manager telling me that. That's the players on the park recognising it themselves and saying, right, we need to do something about this. And then they all fall into place and just do it as a team. That's what he's trying to build. If you can manage to do that, you'll be successful. There's no doubt about it in my mind, you will be successful. But there's no point in putting pressure on everybody and speculating, well, we're going to do this, we're going to win that, we're not going to win anything if we're not bonded as a team and get the will to win. That's the most important thing, and that's what I'm looking for him to put together this year. And if you win or doing that, if you win during this year, great and dandy. I mean, that's what Thelwell and Stuart tried to tell you last year. I know there were the rank people in the rank Joe, but they came out with something similar. What I'm saying, they says we're trying to build a plane, but we're trying to fly at the same time as we build the plane. In other words, we're trying to win trophies, but build a team and build a squad. Difficult, very difficult. But we're further on in that point now. We've got players that's ready to play. They've played for a full year with Rangers now, and now we've got new players coming in. So we're further along than the building process. Now it's about bonding them all together and get them to be a team, get the whole squad together. Not just 11 players or a leadership. I don't like that leadership group nonsense. I think it's very divisive. I don't like it at all. That means that you've not got enough leaders in the club. And McInnes is right when he turns and says everybody on the park needs to be a leader. Everybody needs to know their job. Everybody needs to be wanting to do their job and extra. Everybody needs to want to play with everybody else, and they need to keep paying attention to what the opposition are doing and adapt accordingly. What was happening before, you had players on there and they're told to play a particular position, do a particular thing, and that's what they done. But it didn't work during the game for our team, and they just stood there and looked at the bench and looked about each other and go, what do we do now? Good players know what to do. Good players adapt during the game. They don't need instructions to adapt. They don't need told every single wee detail. You just go on with the game. But the most important is you do it together. If you don't do it together, you're never going to be successful in a team sport. It's just fact. That's just the way it is. If you look at Mbappe with France there, Mbappe had a great tournament. Why? Because he was playing as a team player. Was before he didn't. He played as an individual. He's learned that with Real Madrid when he went there. They've showed him what you need to do. If you want to be a great player, which he is, and if you want to remain a great player, which he does, you need to get the teammates. You need to buy in with your teammates. You need to all play together. And that's what McInnes is. I think that's what his big asset, mate. I think that's what he's really good at. Sorry for ranting on, mate.
No, you're all right, mate. You're all right. You're making some good points. I think you've got to get that together first, as you say, the team working well, because if you work well, you're going to strive and get to the success. But people might see success differently. People might just see the success being the trophies. AK, what's your thoughts?
Well, trophies is why he's at our club. We recognise Jim Gillespie, I think, is behind a lot of decisions that's been on of late, because he's recognised that we need to get, the best in Scotland. I mean, was it Bennett said a few years ago, we need to try and get best in class. Well, this is what I think Gillespie's doing now. We've tried the European route with managers. We've tried the European route with the director of football. Now we're recognising, no, we need to look closer to home and get some guys in that actually care about the club, and it annoys them when we don't win or we drop points, needless points. And I think the support was always there, but we questioned the morality of the manager. Are they really hurting the way we're hurting? You would say no. They're picking up their wage packet and they're going home, their fancy houses, their fancy motors, but we're walking into work on a Monday getting ridiculed again, because we've lost at the weekend, silly points, blah blah blah. So we've got to sort out all these things. It's the fundamentals. You're right, Albert. They've got to be there. As a Rangers player, you've got to be more than just a gifted player. You've got to have character. You've got to have a steeliness about you. And
fit into a team, and fit into the team, and fit into the team.
Everything, every ingredient is got to be there. That's not just as individuals. That's collectively as a bunch. If somebody's not doing their job in the team, then it can quickly fall apart. So leaders will dig out guys who aren't doing their job, and they'll tell them. The manager doesn't need to tell them. The players should know. And if that weakness in mind, frame of mind that they have isn't quite on it on the day, well, they players are no good for our club, and we've seen too many of them. They've all left very rich men, taking their money and barely playing a minute. And it's got to stop. It's got to change. And I think McInnes is going to instill a lot of his own players in the team who he trusts to do a job. And I think that's the reason why Cammy Devlin's out there. He trusts them. He trusts Shankland. He trusts young McCrory to get better. But he's going to be totally different. Forget Tavernier now. He's not that same player. You'll never see that same player. So we've got to change the structure of the team now. What's ahead of him. And that's where the inventing of this comes, where we're missing that spark in the midfield. We're missing the width of the wingers, the trick of the wingers. We think we're all right up front with what we've got, but we've got to supply the service. So it all works in stages, but collectively it all works together. And Derek McInnes is now the man to put everything back together again. Just like Humpty Dumpty and you, Albert.
Well, let's hope that Derek McInnes doesn't have a fall.
Aye. Well, he's going to have bumps in the road anyway. You've got to expect that. He's going to have bumps in the road.
He's already got one. He's in the door a couple of months. He's already got one.
Aye, well, I know. You expect that for the clowns, don't you? You just know they're going to make the wrong decisions. But there you go. But I see a positive spin on it. It depends on the players that are coming in. I mean, we don't know too much about some of them. Some we do. Shankland and Devlin and McCrory and Curtis, and you know about them. Dan Neil maybe not so much. The boy Godfrey at the back maybe not so much. The goalkeeper. Just talking about the goalkeeper, man. He likes to play up the park a bit, doesn't he? He's quick. He's very quick. And he can take a crossbar. Well, he never really get chanced or anything, but he took the crossbar. So I'm looking forward, and I'm hoping that boy's going to turn into something special to watch, because we're going to need a good goalkeeper. It starts with a good goalkeeper, and it builds out for there. So I'm looking forward. I don't know about yous.
Certainly, mate. Certainly. We're moving into the last half an hour or so into the show, so give us a call.
Taking over cities. Oh, Glasgow Rangers. International. Allez!
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Thanks for that, Fox. I think if anybody was about to doze off, they've just been woken up. AK?
It certainly put a shaders up me.
That's more of my taste now. That's a bit more like it. That's it. Get that going.
So what you're saying is we need to get a remix of Ibroxonia?
No, that's like, no,
Klein and
get away.
Tinker.
Just
I'm
before
even
we move
starting
on,
to sing it now. You hear it that often, I'm starting to sing it now.
we'll hold you to that one, mate. We'll hold you. Just before we move on and look to Sunday, obviously West Ham travel up to play us on Sunday. A wee question just on what you were saying there, Albert, and I'll get AK's point of view on it as well. Cameron, who's on Facebook, makes a point this season, I think in particular, got to forget Europe and get trophies in the cabinet first. Do you agree with that, Albert? Is Europe maybe a hindrance at times as much as it's a financial benefit?
It's a game of football. We want to win all games of football. So, as far as I'm concerned, you stay in Europe as long as you can stay in Europe. You try to win the games. Of course, you try to win the games. There's no way we're going to no try and win the games. I know he's talking about saying we're going to be upset we get put out of Europe. I would be upset getting put out of Europe because some of the best performances and some of the best nights we've had since we come back up the leagues is the European nights. They've been superb, absolutely superb. So you sit and say you want to give all that away. You got to have some enjoyment in your life. You know what I mean? It can't be all drudgery. It can't be all we all need to be knuckled down. So no, I'd say at all games. I don't care who Rangers play. All games. We're great about. Well, I was great about friendlies. No, oh, we won the friendly. That's good. That's good. So if you're going to great about friendlies, you may as well say Europe's important as well. If you put a priority, if you're saying to me, oh, we're playing an important league game before after a European game. So do we put the strongest team out the European game? Some players might get injured and you'll miss the league game. Difficult decision. As far as I'm concerned, you play the games as they come, mate, as they come, and you need to get in the mindset of the players that every game needs to be won. Every game can't be won, but every game you need to get the intentions to win every game. I don't know what priorities in this Rangers, mate. They're all important. I'm not writing anything off.
AK, same question to yourself. And just before you answer, Hugh on Facebook as well says that the club of Rangers size can't and won't forget European football. It's important as a business that Rangers play European football. So you've got, as Albert says, two sides of it, the footballing and the business. Your take on it?
Great point, Hugh. I was just going to say that the economics Rangers as a business go hand in hand with our success on and off the park. It's you look at the treble and what financial gain you would get because of the paltry amounts that the TV deal offers us. If you win the league in Scotland, I think it's last time I looked anyway, it was running about £7 million, something like that, 6.5, 7 million, which pales into significance compared to other leagues in our countries, particularly down in England, with the Sky deal that they've got. They're worth over £1 billion. You know, they've just signed a recent contract. We're signing contracts, whoopie-doo, for 7 million a year. It's pathetic. And then, as I say, you add the two cups to that, that's another million. So in essence, you've won the majority of the games out of 46 games, under 50 games, and you've won the total sum, £8 million, £9 million. You get deep into Europe, which we did in Seville, and then you're banking, 30 odd million. You get Champions League, you're straight into the big money. Kavanagh and his consortium isn't going to keep bankrolling Rangers with transfers and big wages and that for a turnover of paltry amounts of less than 10 million. It's vital for the support point of view that we're starting to win trophies again, because in essence that's what we want. That's your bread and butter, and I agree that the league is the number one priority, but we can't afford to discount and just say, nah, we're no bother. We'll just field the boys, we'll field weakened teams and all that, because last year hurt us financially and with the coefficient points because we've done so poorly in the years. But you also throw in the added ingredient, Derek McInnes hasn't really had an opportunity to play in Europe much, with the clubs that he's been at, because the resources that he's got is far better at Rangers than anywhere. So he'll be keen to make a good impression. We spoke about it the last show I was on with Ox. Momentum is a big thing. And we're playing the Polish mob soon. We're starting a league campaign next week. If we're off to winning starts in them, all of a sudden momentum gathers, confidence comes, your new signings start knitting in. If you're losing dropping points at Tannadice, you lose to the Polish mob, all of a sudden you're doom and gloom your club again, and all the boo boys come out again and shout for the removal of managers and players and that again, and this cycle of doom continues. So now we need Europe.
Rob, I'll ask you the question. I'll ask Alec as well. What benefit is no being successful in Europe? What benefit, if we're not going to pay attention to the club, is if no taking Europe seriously? What is the benefit?
I think that the benefit would probably be, if you're not in Europe, you've got that gap between games. There's less of a pile up. Your team is arguably should be fresher and sharper game week by game week.
But that doesn't stack up. I know that's what most people will be saying, but it doesn't stack up, does it? If you look at Seville and all that, some of the best football we played, look at the Scottish Cup, or the run we had that year. The league got away because the league got away for other reasons than tiredness. It wasn't tiredness. So I don't see the benefit. And and I know and everybody else knows that you can't pick and choose. We're going to play well in that game, or we're going to play a weak team, and we're going to hopefully get. To me, all you're doing is narrowing your goals, narrowing your choices, narrowing your chances of winning trophies by saying, "I'm not going to win that. I'm not worrying about that trophy. No one about the League Cup. No one about the Scottish. I'm just worrying about the league." And if it goes tits up in the league, you've just threw away all the other trophies. You've got to. It's just game by game, trophy by trophy. You play it as it comes. You try to win every game. And it's as simple as that, mate. And if you can't do that at Rangers, you shouldn't be at Rangers. It's simple, mate. If you can win every trophy, we'll win every trophy. That's what you're in. That's what we're up for. That's what I'm up for. You want to prioritise it. I'd like to win the league. If you're going to put it down to a measurement at the end of the season, say, well, what's a successful season? A successful season is winning a league, a great run in Europe, win a Scottish Cup, win the treble. That's a fantastic season for you. Right, realistically, would you accept win the league, good run in Europe, Scottish Cup? That's what I would accept. What you're actually going to get in reality, you're probably going to get one trophy and say, well, what one is it going to be? Well, I'd like to get the league. If you don't get the league, Scottish Cup, don't get the Scottish Cup, League Cup. But I want to run in Europe, just down to the finances as well. Plus, some of the great nights that you've had, enjoyment in your life, as the European nights at Ibrox. Some of them have been brilliant. Not recently, but we've seen it. We've all felt it. And saying yourself, you can't throw that away. You can't get into narrow your thing into just, oh, we need to get this, and just abandon everything else. It doesn't make any sense to me. There's no benefit to it. Zero benefit that I can see. I know people say energy and time to prepare. But we went to Spain and come back a shambles. We don't have time to prepare for the Motherwell game. We come back a shambles. So it doesn't always follow suit that the more time. I've always said about Rangers, but the more time the Rangers team get off, the worse they are. I've seen it time and time as usual. It's time and time again. So no, I don't see the benefit. I know people come up with anything, but there's a benefit, but no in my eyes. So it's a lot. You go to do Europe as well, mate. Sorry.
I suppose the flip side of that, mate, is the personnel that's in the dressing room as well. Attitude applications, we've said many a times, AK.
Of course. Listen, going back to Olber's points here, would we attract Dragovic, Pandur, Neil, Godfrey to our club if they didn't have Europe ahead of them? So that's the attraction that Europe offers these players. If it was just domestic, playing in Scotland, playing teams four times a season, plastic pitches, horrible weather, dilapidated stadiums, this and that, it's no very appealing for these big name players that we're hoping to attract to our club. You know, so Europe is vital for us going forward. But again, personally, can see both points of view. But personally, it's about time Rangers started putting red, white, and blue ribbons on domestic trophies today. And if we get to say a last 16, a quarter final on top of a treble, then that's a good basis, a good foundation to start with. So let's see where it goes.
Aye, certainly we're a few weeks away from a couple of weeks actually from the European game starting, and of course the league game starts in a week tonight away at Tannadice. But it'll be a game on Sunday. West Ham come up from down south. Arguably, fair to say it's a step up in level from St Etienne. I know they've been obviously relegated, West Ham, but not that long ago, mate, they were in Europe and they won the Conference League. So big test for Derek and the team on Sunday.
Oh, it's a tale of two levels, mate. One, it's two levels. And if Bowen's playing, if we're not careful, he'll tear us apart himself. He's a brilliant player, that one, an absolute brilliant player. I don't know if he's staying with them. I would suggest that he's too good to be playing in the Championship, personally. But this will be a good test, a really good test. And it's I'm looking forward to it. To be honest with you, I'm looking forward to it. But I think we'll struggle in the game. I don't know how. Well, I think we're actually ahead of them in fitness level preparation. I think we're maybe 2 weeks ahead of them. So for that point of view, we might get a bit of joy, but it will be a serious test, which is good. That's what you want. You want to see it. I'm looking forward to it. Quite like West Ham. West Ham were all right.
Okay, I looked at the West Ham squad that's travelling up. There is quite a few, we'll say first team players that have obviously got Premier League experience, but a lot of youth players as well. But it is a big test for us on Sunday. And Derek McInnes said after the game on Wednesday night that a lot of the players that started and played the majority of Wednesday night will also play on Sunday. And that's obviously with a view to Dundee on Friday. Dundee United, rather, on Friday.
Aye. It'll be interesting to see the starting lineup again. I mean, I was concerned about the starting lineup, but what happened there on Wednesday. But I was concerned the attitude and application of a few of the players. So they need to get a rocket up their backsides, because West Ham's going to come up here. They're going to be well supported themselves. I believe we've got 40,000 tickets sold for that, and they're at a reduced rate as well. So if rather than just sitting it in the house and watching it on your telly, well, get yourself a link to Ibrox and make it a full house, and welcome the team and welcome our new manager to the ground in a proper manner, because that doesn't sit right with me either, guys. I don't know what you thought when McInnes arrived initially. There was a one-face supporters out there, whereas Stephen Gerrard's, they're opening the main store in that for him. You know, Derek McInnes is one of us, you know, and it just didn't sit right with me. So the fact that we only half filled it on Wednesday there, I think we should be looking to fill Ibrox a full house on Sunday coming, and let's see what the team can do.
Gerrard and McInnes are not in the same status-wise. They're not in the same league, is they? Honestly.
No. Listen, I get that, but I thought Mayor would have been there to welcome him. That's all.
Well, I can't go to Sunday because I've got church.
I think on your point there, AK, that as Holbert says, status is one thing, but Derek himself, even going into the game on Wednesday night, he said it's a nice moment for him. It's an emotional moment, proud moment for him and his family, but he didn't want it to be about him. It was all about the players and the team, and I think that's the way he is as a person. I think that's the way he'll want it. It's about the club first and foremost. It's proud. It's an honour for him. We get that. We understand it. We'd probably feel the same if we're in his position, but he's right. It is a focus on the team, and as you said, 40,000 tickets sold on Sunday. Reduced prices. I think kids are £6. So get the youngsters along. Let them take in a game. If it's their first game, get a taste for it. Build that next generation out there, because that's the ones that follow in our footsteps as well as the ones behind us that will be there.
Oh, aye, definitely. Get them all in. It's friendlies are friendlies. I know my cup of tea, but friendlies are friendlies. It's good. It's a good opportunity to get the youngins in, as you say. So let's hope they follow it up. If you get the right opposition, you get the right players on the part, it fills up automatically. So it's a hard sell when you're not overly enthusiastic about the individuals involved. That's the big attraction. Let's be honest about it. But I get the youngsters up, get them their first taste of Ibrox. It's a good. Hope it's a nice day. Hope it's the weather we've been having. Well, I think it's raining tomorrow right enough, but let's hope it's a nice day for them and get them along there. Aye, definitely, it's the future.
AK, obviously we've just said there that a lot of the players from Wednesday will play. Without reading too much into it, do you think the people who get lack of minutes or we don't see at all again is the writing on the wall, or is it just Derek really preparing for his strongest team that he can field on Friday, bar any players that maybe come in the door during the week?
Well, personally, I'd like to be seeing Ant-Man getting a run out. I think Diamondi should be took out the team, but it's down to the personnel that's on the park. Chukwani could be finding himself out the team as well, for his performance and attitude. And you've got a bench here where you can make changes now. You've got what do you call the big guy, big German up front. You've got options there. Nadiri, Miovski come on, helped to change the game, win the penalty. So you've got a bit of hunger there in different positions within the team, but the team need to show, that they're up for it. They're up to play for him. They're up to play for the support. They're up to win things this year, and that was the big difference that I felt early doors when Gerrard came back after the COVID season. We won the pre-season tournament in Lyon, and we started the season pretty well, and that just built momentum for the rest of the season. There was a different impetus. Listening to Halliday and Scotty Arfield about the training. Morelos come back fit, and Defoe and all that. There was just something different about it. So that's what needs to happen with this Rangers team now. And if we need further personnel to come in the business end, the transfer window, then so be it. And I heard a wee whisper tonight, guys. I don't know if there's any truth in it, that Mikey Moore might actually be coming back to Rangers with another loan. So let's see how that transpires.
Certainly one I think they would give the fans a bit of a boost as well. I think he brings a quality. Obviously, there's a lot of speculation this time of year. You're always going to get it. All the media reports linking players. If we signed every player we were linked with, we'd have a massive squad. And half of them probably wouldn't cut it out, but we'd be sitting there. But Mikey Moore is certainly one that would appease the fans and, of course, improve the quality and give us width as well and creativity if it does transpire.
If we signed the amount of players were rumoured with, you wouldn't have any space for supporting Sunday. The players would fill the stands. I mean, it's crazy. I take a pinch of salt. I'll wait to, as everybody says, hold the scarf above their head before you get excited. You can just drive yourself insane. Thinking about who they're going to get and who they're not going to get, and then get disappointed with players that you're connected with. And then the club come out months later and say, we're never in for that player. But we're all thinking, no, they're going to sign this player or they're after this player. They just better leaving the papers and the Sky nonsense to their own devices, man, and just wait to see who you get. At the end of the day, you get what you get. I mean, it's as simple as that. I've heard that boy Dow, is it the boy Dow? I heard he's supposed to be signing, and then next thing you see he's getting mentioned by Cardiff. They've got an offer accepted for them. You don't know what to believe anywhere, mate. I just take it a pinch of salt. We get what we get, mate, and we'll see where we go for there.
The trouble you've got, AK, is the window doesn't shut till September. So you're starting the league, you're starting the European campaign, and you've still got some time. Players might be here now that aren't there at the end of the season, and you never know. It might be one deadline day signing that just is the wow signing.
Oh, there's plenty weeks left in the transfer window. If that team that started against St Etienne could be completely different with the team that starts the month of September. So there's a lot of wheeling and dealing going on behind the scenes. I think Danilo was seen over at Brazil the other night. Pictured there. So that's a loan. So he's off the books. We've already got a few out with the loan returning and players' contracts ending. So there's a lot of decisions to get made for the better of the club. Money raised off the sale with Raskin, Barron, Bajrami. I would be throwing in Gassama into that as well. So that if you could get all the guys off the books and bring in your own players, then all of a sudden we could be affording, dare I say it, Albert, Lewis Ferguson.
Well, what I'll say on that, AK, is it's been obviously a lot of talk during the summer about Lewis Ferguson, but not one person has come out and dismissed it as of yet, which means there's always the possibility. Watch the space, as they keep saying, you never know. Albert?
Well, aye, as far as I'm concerned, I've never heard me Lewis Ferguson, but the bits I've seen of the boy and the money that's been mentioned, I think you're just going to be paying a lot of money for mediocrity. You know what I mean? So he's not the player you think he is. I don't know. I've not seen a lot of him right enough. He might sign at a reasonable price and be outstanding. Well, I hope that's the case. But wouldn't hold your breath for it, mate. Let's be honest about it. The boy's on good wages. I imagine he's staying in a nice area, according to his dad. And he's also interest shown within Italy itself. So he might like the lifestyle. What's the attraction of coming back here and getting treated by referees and SSFA and the rest of the way with Rangers players and Rangers as a club gets treated? I don't see the attraction of coming back, to be honest with you. I know he's a Rangers man, that's fine. That is the attraction for him, but still, you've got to think of your family, you've got to think of the future.
Albert, you wouldn't swap Bologna for Lark
No.
By the way, he's not on that much your wage. 26 grand a week is very affordable for Rangers.
Reportedly. I wouldn't swap.
Well, I've seen his bank account, it's there.
He keeps me updated what he's earning. Aye. Right, what time are we finishing here, by the way? I'm getting paid overtime here.
You know we don't get overtime, mate. We're just about to wrap up anyway, Albert.
Well, she's got my night dress out and everything. I'm going like that. What's happening here? It must be really late.
Must be a Friday night if you get a night dress out.
Ah, well, you know what happens, but it depends what one it is. I'm not going to get into details on that. Come on, behave yourselves.
Final word from yourself, Albert.
Aye, good chat tonight, guys. Enjoyed it. Yourself and Ali and the backroom team. Well done. Enjoyed that, mate. And let's hope we get a result on Sunday. It'd be nice.
Cheers, mate. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. AK?
That was a good podcast tonight there, Rob. Always a pleasure speaking to yourself and Albert, and thanks to the Takey team in the background for producing the show. So we look forward to Sunday now. West Ham's up next. In a week tonight, we go to Tannadice. So, aye, things are really starting to move on. So, yep, looking forward to it, mate. Thanks again. Win the Rangers.
Cheers, mate. Do you know, there's one thing that I probably should have known this for a number of months and years already, but I've learned something tonight that maybe not a lot of people realise. Albert, the truth never lies, and neither do you, mate.
Let's get on here. Am I getting set up for something? What's happening?
No, it's okay. You know yourself. The truth never takes a day off.
Aye, the truth never takes a day off.
Hey, wee man, it could be worse. You could be born Celtic.
True.
Thanks, guys.
That one, MD.
Great to have you on for doing the show. Pleasure as always speaking to both of you. Big thanks to Fox and Old School Blue in the background for doing the technicals as always. And of course, everyone out there on Facebook and YouTube that's listened in tonight. Always great to have your contribution. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back on Monday night at 8 p.m. There'll be no show on Sunday, as a lot of us are cheering on Rangers at Ibrox. So Monday night, 8 p.m, as we return to our full-time nightly shows to build up to the season opener at Tannadice. Thanks for listening. Have a good weekend. Take it away, Old School Blue.